believe I'm joined right now by the manager of the New York Yankees, Aaron Boone, coming onto the program today. Aaron, are you there? And I don't have any sound on Aaron. So
how are we doing now? We good?
There we go. There we go. I got you. Hey man, it's been a while since we've talked. You guys are in first place, half a game up on the Orioles. How you feeling here in August?
Feeling good, man. It's been a grind of a year. We've had some ups and downs, but we're getting towards that. We're in the dog days now, but excited for what we hope's a really great finish and have some fun the rest of the way and go finish this thing off. But we're in a good spot and looking forward to the rest of the way.
All right. Well, you're my guy. I'm pulling Yankees.
I heard
I'm a Cubs fan, but
I heard you talking Bob Seger, and I could not agree more with you. And I was a little late to the Bob Seger party, but I it's been about the last 6-8 years where I'm like, man, Bob Seger is unbelievable. And I'm disappointed because I missed out on any concert chance I had, because didn't he have his last concert tour like a year ago? So I'm never going to get to see him play. But Bob Seger, unbelievable.
Underrated. I mean, yes. One of the most underrated. Good judgment. Aaron, help us out with this poll here. The options today there, you can see Mountain Dew, the Love Boat. I put the Love Boat on there because I know that was one of your shows back in the day that was a can't miss for you. We got Foghorn Leghorn and Bob Seger there. Yeah, I mean, which direction are you going to go there between those four?
I went through a very small Mountain Dew phase, and I like it, but I've probably had a dozen in my life. So I'm going to go Mountain Dew last. I'm going to go Foghorn Leghorn third, solid. I'm going to go Seeger 2 and the Love Boat. Got to go with the Love Boat. Got to go.
There it was. Look at that. Going against the grain. The courage to stand out there with the 12.7% of Americans who have the good judgment to appreciate the Love Boat.
Like
Aaron, look, you get
nothing like a Friday night with the Love Boat and Fantasy Island. I mean, let's go.
Oh, it was gold. It was pure gold. So Aaron, you get tons of baseball questions. I'm not going to hit you with very much baseball stuff at all. I want to talk about the really important stuff that we like to discuss whenever we have the opportunity to have a conversation. But I am going to give you one rule change idea that I want to get your feedback on, because I think that I have an idea to improve Major League Baseball, and who is more qualified than the manager of the New York Yankees to assess the merits of this. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, Michael Kay kind of went off here a little while ago about the ridiculousness of Aaron Judge being walked in the second inning with 2 outs and nobody on, which seems like it's against the spirit of everything that we love about baseball. So here's my option. I think this would have been even better if we could have instituted this about 25 years ago when Barry Bonds was getting intentionally walked every game. But here it is. This applies to each batter individually. The first time that you intentionally walk him, it's 1 base. The second time you intentionally walk him, he gets 2 bases, and everybody moves up 2 if anybody's on, which obviously you wouldn't even consider it if anybody was in scoring position. And if you want to do it a third time, it's effectively a triple. So you're not going to be walking somebody in the second inning. I mean, you're at least going to pitch around the guy. I'm still pissed off that we don't lob it up there 4 times. I don't like the just, hey, go walk down to first base in the first place. But as the manager of the best hitter in baseball, and one of the best hitters that we've ever seen in the history of baseball, that's my pitch to you. Are you with me?
I'm with you. I am. So this has been a topic I've been getting asked a lot about, even in my daily scrums with the media. Like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, I need some time to think about it. But I agree. I think it's, the biggest moments of the game, you don't take the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands. So I think you should at least have to pitch to them. And if you want to unintentionally walk them, there's an art form to that, and you've got to be able to capably do that. But I think Major League Baseball has shown over the last several years that they're willing to tweak some rules every now and then again, which hasn't always been the case. And I think in this case, I think you should be forced to pitch to everyone and have the art to be careful about it.
Absolutely. Well said. All right. That's it for baseball. Let's talk about one of our mutual passions. We've already got a little music here talking about Seager. Let's talk about Yacht Rock. Okay. I've got a few options for you, some Yacht Rock legends for you to take a look at. And I kind of want you to give me the Aaron Boone Yacht Rock power rankings today. If we can get that up on the screen. We have
it was Yacht Rock night. It was Yacht Rock night last night in Chicago playing the White Sox. So in between innings, they're playing songs, and I'm laying them on. I'm saying to Brad Osmus, our bench coach, I'm naming the band. I'm like 6-1 me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm concentrating on the game while I'm guessing Yacht Rock songs."
Hey, listen, the Yankees were not going to lose on Yacht Rock night with you in the dugout. It just wasn't going to happen.
Would hope.
Obviously, that was a W. But we got, who are the legends, right? The Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, you can see there, Michael McDonald solo, Christopher Cross, Toto, Hall & Oates, Kenny Loggins. This is, I'm not saying that there aren't some other worthy names, but this is kind of the cream of the crop. Who are your go-tos from this list, Aaron?
All right. So my go-tos, without question, absolutely number one here is Hall & Oates. If I'm on a deserted island and I got one playlist to go with me, they might be who I take. There're just so many great songs that run together. Like, give me Hall & Oates all day long. Number one. Number two, I'm going to go with Michael McDonald. Sneaky, falls into that Bob Seger almost a little bit. Sneaky, just a lot of great songs. He runs together with the Doobie Brothers a little bit, so sometimes I get that, where it ends, where it begins. But Michael McDonald's great. Kenny Loggins, the father of the movie anthems. Can't go wrong there. Toto, I love Rosanna and Africa and Hold the Line, but I don't love all their stuff, so I'll put them next. Christopher Cross, the big three, Ride the Wind, Sailing, and Arthur. Good with, can't go wrong with any of those. I do like the Doobie Brothers, especially when you consider it's Michael McDonald. And for me, Steely Dan's last on this list, even though I love Hey 19 and Peg, they're still last, whereas those others behind Hall & Oates are kind of grouped together for me.
Here you have it from Ricky Cobb's show, Yacht Rock correspondent Aaron Boone, breaking it down for you this morning. Michael McDonald, what a legend, because he collaborated with Loggins, he collaborated with Steely Dan. He's on there from the Doobie Brothers and by himself. He collaborated with Christopher Cross. There was a lot of cross-pollination. I feel like Michael McDonald is kind of the glue that holds Yacht Rock together.
He's a legend. He's a legend. There's no question.
All right, Aaron, one of my favorite topics with you. I said I wasn't going to talk baseball, and this isn't even baseball to me. It is, but it isn't. Look, you know that I'm rooting for you to just, through the years, chase down Bobby Cox's ejection record. Okay, Bobby Cox got ejected 162 times. That is a regular season of righteous anger, as I have said before. You right now, sir, at the young age that you are, you've got plenty of time ahead of you if you want to continue in the dugout for a couple more decades. I think he might be in the crosshairs. Right now, you have 39 career ejections. You're leading the major leagues this year with a half a dozen. One more ejection. Your next ejection ties you with Casey Stengel on the all-time list. So you are going to be right there in the company of Yankee greatness, as you should be. Listen, you know I love this about you. We don't see as much of this as we used to. I grew up in the era of Billy Martin kicking dirt on umpires, Earl Weaver ejecting the umpires, when it was really, truly an art form. And I love that you keep that alive. And hey, look, I want to say, you're a great dude, obviously. The work that you do just with the Yankees Hope Week and working with kids who are in need and underprivileged kids and all of those things show the big heart that you have. But you're fiery at the same time, and that emotion comes out. You wear it on your sleeve sometimes. Here's my question for you. Do you feel like instant replay, is that an impediment to you reaching have they sort of deadened the ball on you a little bit? If we didn't have instant replay, do you feel like you'd be getting more ejections? Is it holding you back a little bit?
Yes, because especially at Yankee Stadium, I feel like I have the perfect view where I stand on bang bang plays at first base. So every time they miss one, I feel like it's just right in my sight line perfectly where I can see it. So I know we're going to challenge or not challenge that play at first. So when they miss it, I get so upset. And if I didn't have replay to correct them, then I'd probably get kicked out on some bang bang calls at first base too. But look, I one of the things since I took this job with our team is I've preached to our guys the importance of controlling the strike zone. So when I'm hard on them with that and set high expectations with our guys on being able to lay off really tough pitches and having the nerve to do that, then I got to go fight for it in the game when I feel like it's not being called correctly. So it'll probably continue to some degree just because I'm going to fight for that strike zone each and every night.
All right. Well, I love to see it. I love to see it. So much to me of the theater and the emotion of baseball has kind of become muted through the years. So the fact that you really are a throwback in some respects just makes me even more of a fan. Now, we got a couple of minutes here, so I want to go back to something that we discussed when you were on my podcast a while back. We were talking about our favorite crushes, and I know that you had mentioned Alyssa Milano was a big crush for you. Nicole Eggert, I believe, was a crush, but we were talking about the facts of life and who our crushes were from that show. And
Tootie.
So, yeah, you're a Tootie guy.
Oh, yes.
And check out this tweet, Aaron. I tweeted sometime back. I said, me watching The Facts of Life in 1984, I wish I had a girlfriend like Bleier. Me watching The Facts of Life in 2024, 2 beers and I'd have sex with Mrs. Garrett. The goalposts they've shifted for me, Aaron. But the Facts of Life, I mean, it was she's starting to look kind of good now. I'm north of 50, and I'm like, okay, Edna Garrett, she's you could talk yourself into thinking that she's a 6. Maybe she's a 6-pack.
I'm gonna let you own that and keep that with you. I'm gonna say I love the show, and I had a little crush on Tootie. I'm gonna leave it there.
All right, yeah, you're a smart man for not taking the bait. All right, I'm going to make a liar of myself again here. Last question. I'm going to go back. You played the first 6.5 years of your career with the Cincinnati Reds. The first several of those were in Riverfront Stadium. How many balls did you hit into the Red seats, counting batting practice?
0.
It's a blast. It's a blast, right?
The Red seats were for the big boys.
How many did you see get hit into the Red seats in regulation games during your time there?
You know what? Very few. I feel like Juan Encarnacion hit one up there. You remember the relief pitcher Dennis Reyes? Well, back then, the
Yes.
pitcher took batting practice, and Dennis Reyes hit right-handed and could rake, and he would hit them into the yellow seats, which was just below the red seats, and that was impressive for a pitcher. But I do remember
those were the cushion seats.
Yeah, I was talking about this yesterday with some people, talking about Mark McGwire and his batting practices, and especially, in 98 when Sammy and McGwire, going through the home run chase, being in the Central, I'm playing those guys right around when they're at 60 homers and stuff. And McGwire used to come in and in batting practice, almost when he was getting loose, just flip balls off the facade of that upper deck. That was something remarkable to watch.
Yeah, for people who don't know, those red seats, it was titanic to even come close to it. Well, listen, Aaron, we appreciate you carving a little bit of time out here today, especially right here in the middle of the action during August when you're in a heated battle for that AL East crown. Go win a World Series, and I would love to have you back on during football season after you've got a World Series ring on your finger. Well, you won't get it until next spring, but go win the World Series and come back, and we'll talk football sometime.
I appreciate it, Ricky. Great seeing you. Great being on with you. I'll see you down the road, all right?
All right. Thank you, my friend. Ronnie Carmelo saying he would not trade his, I believe, 3 Olympic gold medals for an NBA championship. Look, winning a gold medal is pretty fucking cool as long as you're not doing it in cross kayaking. Basketball, very competitive. We've seen it. I was clowning the USA team for beating South Sudan by a point prior to the Olympics. But it's a big deal to win an Olympic gold medal. The Olympic Dream Team is iconic for a reason. So I'm not here to dump on the Olympics or to try to cheapen the meaningfulness of winning a gold medal for your country and standing on that podium. We saw Scotty Scheffler move to tears after he won the gold medal in golf. We saw how much the tennis gold medal meant to Novak Djokovic, as that was really the 5th major, I guess, if you will, in a sense, in tennis. And you could argue that it's the 5th major in golf as well. So Ronnie Carmelo, he would rather have his gold medals than have an NBA championship ring. Is that, in your opinion, a valid opinion, or do you think he's off track here?
It's absolutely a valid opinion. I don't know what other people would think, but and I guess I feel like an NBA championship would be harder to win, but I think winning a Olympic gold medal would be more prideful. So I guess it just all the thing that matters is how do you feel? And he clearly, that's what's important to him. But there's just up until, there's a couple games where in the Olympics, the U.S. Has competition, but overall they really don't. And the NBA playoffs are a grind. So I can see why he says that.
And what do you think Jordan would say?
I think Jordan would say that he would rather have a NBA championship because he's a stone cold killer, and I think he likes the grind, and I think he likes the grind.
Did you just say that you think Michael Jordan likes Grinder?
No, that's what you heard. I said the grind.
Okay, I'm sorry. We have a bad connection. No, he likes the grind. Well, look, he and Kobe were both very much. They had a different mentality. They had a different gear, but then again, Kobe brought that mentality to the Olympics, right? We've all seen how he told his teammates, "Hey, I'm going to run over Pau Gasol, my teammate." Pau Gasol said that Kobe Bryant's, almost like a brother to him. and he just ran right over him at the very beginning of a game, just to set the tone and say, hey, look, we're coming here to run you guys over tonight. So guys like Kobe and Jordan, they're going to bring that competitiveness to any environment that they're in. I mean, the stories about both of those guys, they were maniacs in a sense. So let's take a look at the question that a lot of people ask, and I just don't fully get it. As somebody who grew up watching prime Michael Jordan, the who was better, who's the GOAT, LeBron or MJ, I just don't see it as even an option. It's like it just isn't close. It's like asking me if I want to drive a Corvette or if I want to drive, a Camaro. All right? I mean, Camaro's great. Most people would love to hop in a Camaro and drive around, and it's awesome. There's not a thing in the world wrong with a Camaro, but I just don't think that Michael Jordan and LeBron James are cut from the same cloth. I will go to my grave saying, LeBron James, hey, look, Camaro, that's probably not even doing him justice, right? Maybe he's a Corvette, and then Jordan is a Lambo. However it is you want to look at it, Jordan is on a different level, in my opinion. Ronnie, do you think that LeBron, the people who really, and there's people who really, really stick up for this. You can see my tweet here. I said, if you're under 30 and you think that LeBron is better than MJ, you need some coaching. If you're over 30 and you think that LeBron is better than MJ, you're just fucking stupid.
I understand why LeBron is in the argument, because he's amazing, right? Like athletically, he is amazing. He can do things on the basketball court that probably Michael couldn't do. But if we're looking at the entire body of work, and that is everything from the physical part to the mental part to the championships, you're right. There's just no difference. And I'm sorry, when I think about Michael Jordan, I used it already. It's just stone cold killer. Every game was ridiculously important to him. And when I think about LeBron, I sometimes think about him flopping and just being a prima donna, and he's just not Michael Jordan, but he's still amazing. The fact that people argue who's the GOAT tells you how good he is, but he's not Michael Jordan.
Ron, do you remember back when Michael Jordan used to flop all the time?
No, I don't remember. I remember him getting his head taken off by the Pistons, but I don't remember him flopping.
I don't remember when he flopped either. Yeah, you know why you don't remember it? Because it didn't fucking happen. Okay, that just wasn't something that he did. Look, LeBron, I think LeBron has a great claim on being top 5 all time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put him behind Kareem. I'm putting him behind Kareem, but I think he has a valid claim to be as high as number 3. If you wanted to say he was number 2, I would disagree with you, but I don't think that is I don't think that that's an absurd opinion to have. So this isn't really about crapping on LeBron so much as it is respect the king and his crown, because the real king is that man that you see on your screen right there. And I'm not talking about the man below me. I'm talking about the man that you see there in the Bulls uniform, although Ronnie T-shirts is certainly in the conversation for greatest cornhole players in America. We may be having that debate in 10 years, Ron, people challenging your status as a cornhole expert. But look, Michael Jordan was 10 years in a row. If we throw out the little short season, he took the year off and played baseball. He came back late the following year. I think he played maybe 17 regular season games, something like that. He was wearing number 45, Ronnie, as you probably recall. And they lost to the Orlando Magic in the playoffs that year. But it's sort of like Rocky V. I just don't even view it as something that really actually happened in real life. I choose to think that that was just a year that Michael Jordan took off. So they won 6 in a row, as I see it. And the 10 regular seasons in a row around the baseball 2 years that he took the hiatus, he won the scoring title all 10 years. And he was Defensive Player of the Year one of those years as well. So, as I said, people ask the question, well, what did Michael Jordan do better than LeBron James? And my answer to that would be offense and defense. In the simplest terms, he was a better offensive player, 10-time scoring leader. I think LeBron has 1 scoring title. Jordan was the Defensive Player of the Year and was first team all defensive many times. I know that LeBron has never won Defensive Player of the Year, and I don't think that he has as many all defensive honors as well. You could argue certainly that LeBron's a better long range shooter. LeBron's a better passer, but LeBron also has lost in the NBA Finals 6 times, while Jordan went 6-0 in the NBA Finals. And people will say, and I understand the argument, it's not a silly argument to say, hey, look, LeBron got there 10 times. Jordan only got there 6 times. LeBron dragged some teams there that weren't very good. LeBron didn't have Scottie Pippen all 6 times. I mean, he did have D. Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, and he has had talented players around him throughout his career. But you can, say the longevity. The biggest thing that I would give LeBron, and the place where LeBron, I will say, he surpasses Jordan, is in retaining his skill level to the ripe old age that he is now. I don't think we've ever seen anybody play basketball at such an elite level at the age that LeBron is. By the time that Michael was the age that LeBron is now, Michael was in the Wizards phase of his career that a lot of us from Chicago, and let's face it, a lot of us who just are basketball fans in general kind of would like to forget.
Yeah, I just think that you're correct about the longevity thing. It's mind blowing. Just being a regular person, because I think he's going to be 40 this year. Is that correct, LeBron? Pretty sure he's going to be 40 this year.
I believe that's right. Yeah, so, I think he's going to be 40 like the New Year's Eve or
I think
like
that's that. Yeah. Do you know all the celebrity birthdays? So I
know LeBron's for some reason. We exchange cards every year, Ronnie. Maybe not after today. If he sees this segment,
I know we're just
be getting one.
I know we're just regular people, and some would say below regular people. But I know I can try to remember back to when I was 40 and remember what it just felt like just to get out of bed in the morning and just to do simple things. And the fact that he is still, I don't know, he's probably still top 5 players in the world. Close. It's absolutely astounding.
He's right there.
It's astounding that he physically can do this. And so props to this guy for what he's done to keep his body in this shape. Absolutely. And just back to what I said, he's not the GOAT, but that's okay because Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Like it's not, even if he is second, I know you don't think he's second, it's not a bad thing to be second to Michael Jordan.
No, there's no shame in that whatsoever. I mean, LeBron James is one of the finest ever. Even if you're going to look at me and say, well, hey, Ricky, you're being a hater. I don't think I'm being that much of a hater. I'm saying the guy's top 5. Maybe he's as high as top 3. So nothing against LeBron, but there can only be one MJ. And I never thought within my lifetime that I would see people questioning his status as the greatest player of all time. And yet it only took about 20 years for a lot of people to legitimately believe that Michael Jordan is not as good as LeBron James. And
but recency
maybe that's what
bias
happens. How much can we trust history?
Yeah.
Well, how much can we trust history, Ron? You know what I mean? Well, the things that we think we know about 100 years ago, what if we could just resuscitate all the people from 100 years ago? How many of the things that we believe are true today would the people who were alive then say, oh no, oh my God, you motherfuckers got this completely wrong?
Yeah.
It's something to think about. You know, as time goes on, we think that we know the truth about everything that happened, but sometimes I think it gets distorted.
Yeah, I think recency bias is a real thing, and it's true with that was the best concert I've ever been to in my life. That was the greatest meal I've ever had in my entire life. That was oh my gosh, this is the greatest TV series I've ever seen. Like, so we are all really, really guilty of recency bias. And a lot of these people who are having the argument about LeBron, they didn't watch Michael from whatever 84 until he got to the Wizards. So recency bias is real. So I do understand why people think that, but they're wrong.
America, sit right down there, America. Swanson's cooking just for you.
When Joe gets hungry, he means it. So he goes for a Swanson Hungry Man dinner.
Look at all that meat.
Swanson knows I'm a second helping man.
Come over, Dad. I'm not the only hungry man in the family.
From today, Swanson, Hungry Man dinners to satisfy your hearty appetite.
Swanson's cooking just for you.
All right, now there is an authentic slice of 1970s, and I'm honored today to be able to speak with the man who was serving Mean Joe Green, the Hungry Man dinner right there. The great Rocky Bleier joins the show today. Rocky, it is such a pleasure to have you on, and I've got to ask you, do you and Mean Joe ever get together and have a Hungry Man these days for old times?
Not anymore. Not anymore. That takes back some memories going back to when we did that Hungry Man dinner. And the only reason, you know, it's like my life and my career. The only reason I got a chance to do that is because Jack Lambert said no, that he wasn't going to do it. And so they had to get somebody else to do it. And so they picked me. Well, hey, anyway, it was
sometimes
a great
the greatest
experience.
roles. Sometimes the greatest roles. The actor who got the gig wasn't the first choice. So you crushed it. So that's the important thing.
Well, thank you.
Look, I have to say, 4-time Super Bowl champion. I think even more impressively than that, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart. You, sir, are an authentic American hero. I thank you for your service to this country, first and foremost. And it's incredible that you even had an NFL career. What you came back from in Vietnam. For the younger folks who may not know, this man was shot in the leg and a grenade exploded at his feet. And he went on to become a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL and a key member of all 4 Steelers Super Bowl championship teams of the 1970s. Rocky, after everything that you went through, from those severe injuries that you suffered serving your country so courageously, did you think at the time that you would never be able to step on a football field in uniform again?
You know, I think that, you know, going through those injuries, and I think the biggest thing about the injuries are, you know, it's maybe something that you learn by playing sports over a period of time, because there's always injuries. I mean, you might have a pull muscle, you might have maybe an operation here, or with bumps and bruises and so on. So there's kind of a lesson that you learn. And that lesson is that you get hurt, it hurts. And then you go see a doctor, and then you rehab, and then you're back out playing. You know, if you think about that cycle in our own lives, playing in neighborhoods or pickup games and so on, being a kid, you know, you always you fall down, you got a scrape, you got a bump, you got something. And kind of the lesson, from my point of view, is that it hurts, it heals, and then you're back out in the backyard playing in the neighborhood. So it's kind of that rotation. Now, in this case, being in Vietnam and being wounded twice, is that in my mind, fortunately, I didn't lose a limb. I was hurt, damaged, but it's like everything else in the past. It takes time, and and hopefully that it works out. But in the back of my mind is that I always wanted to play. I always wanted to come back. I had the good fortune before going to Vietnam of playing 1 year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, special teams primarily, back in 1968 before I got drafted and went into the military. So it was a goal that I wanted to come back to. And so that became kind of my dream and my push. And as I looked at my injuries, and I suppose it was like, well, I didn't lose a limb. I didn't lose an arm. I was damaged, but we've had injuries in the past, and you go through that process, and hopefully it turns out. Also, given an opportunity. And so the biggest thing is, is somebody maybe being in your corner or giving you the benefit of the doubt, and then creating that opportunity thereafter. And so coming back to the Steelers, when I got out of the service, and I tried my best to get back into shape as best possibly can. Went to that training camp, and they let me practice, throughout that whole training camp. And then when it came down to the last cuts of the season, they released me, and to come back the following year. But the interesting thing is that I got a call the next day from Dan Rooney, who was the son of Art Rooney and then owner, general manager at that time and he called me. He said, "I'm sorry I wasn't there." Said, "We would like our doctors to be able to take a look at you and do whatever's necessary." And so they gave me another operation, but they bought me a year in which I hung around and rehabbed, and then I came back the following year, and they put me on the developmental squad, or the taxi squad as it's called now, or back then. And so they bought me 2 years. They bought me 2 years to heal, to get better and stronger. And so then you have to do something with that time. And I came back, and that was 1972. And then I made the team during that period of time, back playing special teams, and was able to hang on, and then get a chance to break into the starting lineup by 1974. So I tell you that in the context because it was always in the back of my mind of wanting to come back. That became my driving force, and so. But along the way, you got to at least maybe create or take advantage of opportunities that arise.
Well, you certainly did that and more. And we saw several photos there on the screen as you were speaking of you and Franco Harris. And I've always said, Rocky Bleier and Franco Harris, that's about as good of a backfield as you could possibly hope for. In 72, you said you were a special teams player at that point in time, really still establishing yourself in the league. Can you take me back to probably the most famous play in NFL history? As you know, Franco, the immaculate reception. I know that you were on the sidelines when that happened. Can you tell me what that looked like from your vantage point at the time that it happened, and what was going through your mind in what must have been the most wonderful kind of chaos at Three Rivers Stadium that you could possibly imagine, I would think?
Right. Now, I'm taking you back to 52 years. And so just to put it in perspective for your listening audiences over there. And in 1972, as you go back and you take a look at that season, and that was the first time in the history of the Steeler franchise in 40 years did they win the division. and we got into the playoffs. So 1972 was a magical year of people coming in. Franco Harris was a rookie that season in 72, and we started to win. And in that I was playing special teams and so on. And as we started to win, we got some more confidence and got into into the playoffs. And it was in the playoffs. It boils down to the last game. The last play of the game. There's 26 seconds left on the clock. Now, just to stop there, over these 52 years, I think that I have run into a little over 236,119 people who personally that they saw the Immaculate Reception, that they were there at the time of the game. Well, it only held 58,000 fans, but anyway, so everybody identified with that play. And so my response to them was that, you're lying to me. I mean, you didn't see the play. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. No, you didn't see the play because of the fact, think about this. It's like you're driving down the highway and it's a slick, snowy, icy, day. And all of a sudden you hit black ice and your car spins around and you're going off the side of the road and you're heading for this big oak tree that's sitting there. You don't go, oh, I'm going to hit this oak tree. You go, oh my goodness gracious, I hope I don't. That's what you did in the game at that time. And the reason I say that is because I'm on the sidelines. And as I said, you've got 26 seconds left. Terry Bradshaw drops back, looking downfield, sees Frenchie Fuqua, the intended receiver, throws the ball. And as he's dropping back, I said to myself, who's on the sideline, I can't watch this. And I turned my head and walked away like I was busy when all of a sudden I hear this roar. And people are running down the sideline yelling, he scored, he scored, he scored. And so I chase him down as well and get into the end zone with all my teammates. But the fact is that I did not see the play until afterwards when they showed the highlights on television of what had taken place. That's my experience of the Immaculate Reception.
Wow. That is amazing. Your book, Fighting Back, told your story so well. Robert Urich played you in a movie, which is pretty amazing. There's not a lot of guys who can say that their life was worthy of the Hollywood treatment, but you got that. Rocky Bleier, 4-time Super Bowl champion, as I said, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, truly a living American legend as I see it, and such a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, and thanks for the time, and have a great weekend. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I got to tell you, one of the great perks of this, this is so much fun. This was my dream for a reason, to have a show, and to have the opportunity to talk to your childhood heroes is really something. And so Rocky Bleier, wow. You want to talk about American legends, really, truly. That man is one. And so happy that we had him on the show today. Let's call back to the top of the show, to the poll of the day here on the Ricky Cobb Show. The options today: Mountain Dew, the Love Boat, Foghorn Leghorn, and of course Bob Seger, who has just ingratiated himself into the programming today, as I've been calling other people Bob Seger. Ronnie's been calling people Bob Seger. We see the great Rex Crum, friend of the old Super 70s Sports podcast, says that he imagines an episode of The Love Boat sponsored by Mountain Dew where Foghorn Leghorn gets into some onboard mischief while Bob Seger gives a special performance of old-time rock and roll on the Lido deck. I am sold. I am sold, Rex Crum. You are a genius my friend. And we have another here. Chris says, never in a million years would I expect to wake up on a day in 2024 and find myself voting for Foghorn Leghorn in a poll. And he's leading. Great work, Ricky. Well, thank you. If there's anything that I can do that has value in this world, it is to celebrate Foghorn Leghorn. Let's be honest, there's no better song about exploratory teenage sex, and a lot of it, than Night Moves by Bob Seger. That is, in fact, the truth. Foghorn Leghorn, Oscar, look at that Oscar Gamble avatar there. Foghorn Leghorn, so underrated. You sweet bastard, I know who you are, and you are correct, Billy. And we've got I Say, Foghorn Leghorn for the win. So Foghorn Leghorn pulling away a little bit from Bob Seger, and as much as I love Bob Seger, why not? Foghorn Leghorn, one of the greats. As I've said, Ronnie, Foghorn Leghorn may be the most underrated of the Looney Tunes characters. I can't get enough of this motherfucker.
I do declare. Wasn't that one of his
that
things?
Dog. Remember the dog? Yeah, he hated the little chicken hawk. Couldn't stand. Remember, because it was like a divorced mom that Foghorn Leghorn was like always like trying to like get in with, and then he was getting blocked by the kid, and he could barely tolerate that little bastard. Remember that?
Yeah. I do remember.
The man was just trying to get laid. Yeah, there was a MILF that he was interested in, and he couldn't stand her kid. And then he always got into conflicts with that one dog. And I can't remember what the dog's name is. I'm ashamed to say, but remember that? The dog was always on the chain, so he couldn't really get to Foghorn most of the time.
Did he smack? What do you smack it like with a rolled up paper?
Yeah, that one. That dog is also one of the more unsung Looney Tunes heroes.
Did the dog wear pants?
The dog didn't wear any clothes, which, as you know, I will also accept.